Good morning. How's everyone out there doing? I'm here with the marvelous Mel Kelly, author of these two fabulous books. And Mel was born in Ireland, but he was made in Germany. And in Germany, he had to move there because he couldn't date anyone in Ireland. It was a very, very, very sad case where literally the entire country, he could not go out on any more dates. So I read his second book and I said, Mel, bad dating is not limited to you or to Ireland or to Germany. This is a global phenomenon. So welcome, Mel Kelly.
Thank you so much, Amy, for that wonderful, wonderful accomplishment introduction. So an honor and privilege to be here. Amazing Amy Hamilton, the amazing author of these two amazing books, The Consummate Communicator and The Amazing Project Manager. And I'm amazed at how many amazings I can get into one sentence. Thank you so much to me, Mel. And I'm looking forward to a fantastic, another session of terrible dating advice today with the amazing Amy Hamilton.
Mel, someday I'm going to buy you an adjective. There's so much more to the English language. It's so filled with fabulous, fantastic words.
Yeah, awesome is not a proper word. That's just a awesome. It's just a anyway.
I feel like it's kind of an 80s word.
Yeah, well, it's an American word. Awesome.
As opposed to British words.
Well, opposed to Irish words. Great. Fantastic. How's that? But
now I was literally thinking that one time I was at an American football game in London, and they had all these words that like had different meanings, like the word lift in London is an elevator in English vernacular, and there's just certain words like that where it's very, very confusing.
Yeah, you poor things. Because then when you go to England, you learn how to speak English properly.
Well, didn't you say that you actually improved your English by moving to Germany?
That was a different thing. Yes, I did.
It's actually in your
book. But it didn't help when I went to America. No, it didn't make any difference. It actually brought it back a few steps. But hey,
So those of you who are wondering what this show is about this week and why Mel and I are just bantering is because this is a very, very important concept of what he said, what she hears. What she says, what he hears.
Okay, let's do a little role play. Amy, how are you doing today?
Fine.
Great.
Mel, fine does not mean fine.
Well, Amy, you said fine. So you're doing fine. What more do I need to ask?
Fine is not fine.
Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Amy, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, Mel.
Amy, you're not fine. What's wrong with you?
Mel, when's the last time you decided to unload the dishwasher without prompting?
What? I only asked you how you're doing, and now you're moaning about my domestic chores that I don't do. These are all interlinked somehow. Very obviously.
Please know that people prompted me to ask that question to you. I won't say who. But Mel, I'm going to ask you a question as a woman.
Can you not objectively say first that this type of communication on a logical level, like on a rational, logical level, could be confusing for somebody?
Oh, I would definitely say it is. And it works both ways though, Mel.
Okay. Right, but anyway, you were about to say, sorry.
No, I think it's an important, role playing is so important to this this one, and it's super funny.
Okay, so.
Okay, are you ready for this one? This is one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
Hey, Mel, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. I was just wondering, what have you been thinking about?
What do you mean, what am I thinking about? Oh, I'm thinking about where I'm going to eat later.
And would that going out to eat involve me?
Do I have a choice now? Okay, all right. So
Mel, based on that, does that mean that you're maybe thinking about plans for our future?
Oh my goodness. So, okay.
Anyways, for our audience, what you can clearly see is there's a lot of questions out there that have a lot of different meanings, and it can be very confusing on both sides.
Exactly. So, what is the answer? The answer is there is no answer. There you go.
Well, I think, well, we met in Toastmasters, which is a really, really wonderful program. If you haven't heard of it, Toastmasters International helps you to improve your public speaking, but it really helps you with your communications. And I think that one of the things that we learn is a better way of open and honest communication that helps to facilitate dialogue.
Yeah, but I asked you how you were. You said you were fine. I said, okay, you're fine. I mean, that's very open, honest dialogue, but that doesn't work.
Well, if you remember, John Zimmer, one of our friends, once did a humorous speech on how the counseling could work for Toastmasters, where then you evaluate somebody's response and you have the 3 minutes couples Toastmasters. This could work.
Would you like to be evaluated on your response then?
On my role playing response.
Okay. I'm fine. Okay, I'm fine.
You know what I discovered though as an American even is a lot of times in other cultures, if somebody asks how you're doing, they really mean it. In America, we generally don't want that answer. And what I've really found in America that I started doing is when people are like, how are you doing? I'm like, do you want the honest answer or do you just want a platitude?
Yes, and they all say we'll take the platitude.
Well, some people will actually say, no, I'd like to know how you're doing.
Oh, really?
And then, but there's a lot of days where I'm like, I am like super fantastic. And then it's easy because then you're like, oh my God, I'm like having the best day. Like, let me tell you what's going on. I just read Mel Kelly's most amazing book. And, oh, you've got to read this, right? And then they're like, okay, like lay off the coffee, right? But at least they're getting I think when it's a positive answer, people are always okay with it. I think when it's a negative answer is when people are not as okay.
Yeah, but did you not think that maybe this is why sometimes people think that Americans can exaggerate a little bit?
Well, we do. We love hyperbole. I mean, we have a culture based on it. I mean, if you look at like the old folk tales in America, like Babe and the Blue Ox, and
Oh, you have folk tales?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. I didn't realize you had that much culture. Sorry. Moving on.
Well, it's like from the pioneer days.
Oh, right. Okay.
But even if you look at the pop culture that you're aware of our folk tales, and I'm going to go with Mickey Mouse, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it's like this old tale of Mickey Mouse, and he goes and he like kills these flies or whatever, and then he puts like 15 with one blow or whatever, and people actually think it's like men, but like he didn't kill like men or mice or whatever. Because he's a mouse, why would he kill men? But anyways, that's a whole different theological discussion there. But we love this kind of exaggeration in our culture. It's definitely something that we do. But I think that when you're looking at he said, she said, a lot of this is international. A lot of this does cross cultures. I think you talk about it in your book a little bit in this whole concept of reverse psychology.
Yeah, it's like encrypting and decrypting is what I would call it. So it's like Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's like getting an email.
Blockchain.
You have TLS enabled.
Blockchain, Bitcoin, encryption, decryption. It's as close as I can get it. But encryption, decryption. I mean, it's an endless thing, but it's pointless because you'll never get it right. As a man, we never get it right. So,
well, I think as human beings, we never get it right. But it's interesting because I will have girlfriends who come to me, and I'm going to say this is like a universal, and I'm promoting this. Women, if you say get me nothing and he gets you nothing, gold star. Tell him to get you something. Like, don't pretend. Like, don't do that. Like, that's, I think, a classic mistake. Like, I cannot tell you how many times where, somebody's birthday or other big event comes by and they're like, well, I told him not to get me anything and he didn't. And I'm like, okay, logic problem here. Like, no, like, men are not psychics.
No, we're not. We're quite literal.
The other thing I did realize, though, too, is it goes into another part of the extreme where I have realized when I've been dating, and, this is more like when you're in, like, the serious dating phase, right? Hopefully, like, it's not like a second date, because that'd just be
serious dating is what, after 2 dates?
No, like, so let me go ahead. So, say that you're, like, walking with somebody, and you're close enough with them that you're, like, window shopping. So that's probably not a second date thing, right? But you're like walking through, and I had this gentleman I was dating, and he was great. But if I said something like, "Oh, I really like that," he would get it, and I'll be like, "Oh, like I don't like that enough. I want it in my house, like it. Like I just liked it, like in the window." So I actually started caveating, going, "Oh, I really, really like that display, but I would never have room for it in my house or something like that."
Yeah.
Because he was trying so hard to please me, and it was great. I mean, it was wonderful. But I was like, "Whoa, this was great in that shop window. This is not what I want in my home, right?" And so I did have the caveat, because you guys are always trying to read those signals, because that's what you've been trained to do.
Oh, we don't see the signals. That's also the thing, and we can't even interpret them. We don't see them, can't interpret them. We're just more literal. So we
It's
just hear the
hard. It's a
word.
hard,
We
hard
just
thing, Mel.
hear
And
the
that's like what you're
word.
saying. If I say I like this, you're like, she like that, I should get that, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is simple.
How are you doing? I'm fine. Means I'm fine. It
Yes,
does
it's
no
a hard
connection
thing.
no connection to the dishwasher that hasn't been emptied. No
But
connection.
Mel, looking at being fine and looking where we are at the time in the show, the next topic that we're going to be talking about is just as confusing for both parties. And we were going to talk about this before, but then we kind of like had some other things we talked about. But we are going to talk about that topic of yo-yo dating. Was it like when you're around people who are on again, off again dating? It's like a merry-go-round, right?
Absolutely, yes. And
Wonderful.
looking forward to that topic. It's been
Mel, I
absolutely
always love
fantastic.
talking with you. This is like my favorite part of the week.
It's been a fantastic session. We look
And
forward to seeing you all next week.
I meant that too. Like that was just like.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Have a great week, everyone. See you next week.